It was really painful. I have to say this to you, Chris. I couldn't go on the full 3 hours. I gave up after 2.5. What was really remarkable is the degree to which they avoided the major issues facing the American people and believe that every single problem facing humanity is all attributed to Barack Obama. He has caused all of the problems. We seem to have forgotten that when Bush left office, 800,000 people were losing their jobs every single month. The world's financial system was on the verge of collapse, and our deficit was a record-breaking $1.4 trillion.
On climate change, they said, yeah, okay, it's there, but it's not for the federal government. Let the states deal with it more. Federal government doesn't have an answer. In terms of poverty and income, they blame you. They say you've taxed people into a position that they're in, and you've locked up business. And most notably on immigration, they say that's on you, too, because your party president, I know you're an independent, but caucusing with the Democrats, and they say that Barack Obama promised it. It's part of why he got elected, and he's done nothing. You didn't get it done. These are all your problems.
Oh, well, let's just deal with that. First of all, they do not believe. I mean, let's be frank. They do not believe in comprehensive immigration reform, and that's why the House of Representatives has not taken up the comprehensive immigration reform passed by the Democrats in a bipartisan way, I should say, in the Senate. We did it. In terms of climate change, no, Chris, I did not hear anybody say, oh, this is a planetary crisis. We have got to do something. Really, the federal government should not do something? No scientist that I know believes that. What they think is if we don't act now, the bad situation will become much worse in later years. In terms of childhood poverty, I didn't hear a word about the need to address the fact that 40% of African-American kids in this country are living in poverty, nor did I hear a word, by the way, about racial justice in this country.
The candidates, as you know, Senator, went after each other somewhat last night, and they also went after Hillary Clinton, and they took sort of a side swipe at you in the process. Let me play for you what Bobby Jindal said.
Hillary Clinton is gift-wrapping this election to us. They are running their weakest candidate. They've got a socialist that is gaining on Hillary Clinton. Folks, you can't make that up. A socialist is doing well in the Democratic primary.
I know for Governor Jindal, it is easy to try to frighten people. We throw out a word, socialism. Oh, my goodness, we're all supposed to be shaking in our boots. But I think if you look at some of the real success stories in many of these countries, there's a lot that we can learn. Countries like Finland and Denmark and Sweden are much more homogenous than we are. They are much smaller than we are. But there are lessons that we can learn. Why are we the only major nation on Earth that doesn't guarantee health care to all people? Forget Scandinavia. I live 100 miles away from Canada. All of their people have health care, and they do it much more cost effectively than we do. Why are we the only major country on Earth that doesn't guarantee paid family and medical leave, so when a working class woman has a baby, she's not forced to be separated from her baby and go back to work a week or 2 weeks later?
Let me just say a word about the Republican debate last night, which I saw. It seems to me that when you look at something like a debate on Fox, what is important is not just the answers that the candidates gave. Probably more importantly are the questions and the issues that Fox chooses not to even discuss. When you have virtually the entire scientific community telling us that climate change is the great global environmental crisis that we face, rather amazing to me, Fox did not have one question on climate change, perhaps to avoid the candidates' embarrassment of being folks who refuse to even acknowledge the reality of climate change. When you are looking at an attack, fundamental attack on democracy as a result of Citizens United Supreme Court decision, not one question about campaign finance and the propriety of most of the candidates up there having super PACs and raising substantial sums of money from the wealthy and large corporations. Not a question about what it means to American democracy, where super PACs, money coming from the very wealthy, have more money than even the candidates' own campaign funding capabilities. Not a question on that. Not a question on the great moral issue facing our economy, and that is the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality. How do the candidates feel? about the fact that the top 1/10 of 1% now own almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%, and over half of all new income is going to the top 1%. Any thoughts about that? Our infrastructure is crumbling, and we need to create millions of jobs because real unemployment is about 10.4%. Not a question on that. So what interested me is not so much the answers, although the answers were pretty scary. It was the questions that Fox chooses not to ask.